You are now listening to the Project Kuwait. Where we stop at nothing to bring you the right facts on health, fitness, and psychology. Featuring some of the world's most experienced professionals so you can learn, lift, and live. With your hosts, Meg, Dr. D, and Mahdi.
I love it because it's sort of like an evolution of CrossFit, something more structured and, just kind of like you go in, okay, here's your water break, because people don't know. I mean, a lot of trainers, coaches assume that people know when to take a rest or know when to get a drink of water or know when to do something. And in reality, a lot of gym goers really don't. And I was having this conversation that there are people that go to these big bodybuilding gyms here in Kuwait that have recently opened up boxes. And you go in there and you just see the guys that don't know what to do at the lower levels, inside with all the machines. They have no clue.
You compete against other people on the leaderboard, depending on your points too. So you also get that competitive side of it if you want to be a part of that. And some people really enjoy that. So it's nice as a coach to be able to look up at a heart rate monitor board and I'll know, like, if someone's doing cardio and they're in the blue zone, I'm going to immediately be over there being like, all right, buddy, we got to pick it up here. I'm looking at your heart rate monitor right now. I know you're not pushing yourself. We could definitely go a little bit harder.
I did appreciate that when I went to a class, and being a coach myself and a more seasoned athlete, it's easy for people to see in a class where there might be beginners, right? It's easy for coaches to even brush by and not say a word to me during a class. And I really appreciated that, having those videos up front of a demonstration of what the movement is supposed to for people to keep their eyes on and see, and then the coach can kind of walk around and give little cues. I did feel like I got more coaching and attention in a class, which is nice.
All this and more in today's episode.
Meg, you got to give me a song this time, okay? Your friend is on the podcast. You got to give me a song. I always give a song on this podcast. It's your turn. I'm throwing the ball in your court. I've been playing this all day.
Oh, I have to pick a song?
You got to sing a song. I have to sing
a song?
Oh, I love
that.
Yeah,
you know how I sing. Danica, you could sing a song too, all right? One of you guys has I sing on this podcast. Someone else has to sing.
I'm not going to lie. The first thing that came to mind was WAP, but I feel like that's highly inappropriate.
WAP? No, dude, that is fine. Go ahead. I don't even know
There's some holes in this house. There's some holes in this house. There's some holes in this house. Danica, take it away.
I know. Oh, God.
Danica is a big Cardi B fan, and she introduced me to Cardi B because her first video was in Dubai, right?
Yeah. Well, and it was funny. The first time I heard the song, I was in Dubai, and I was driving down one of the main strips. We were stuck in traffic, and the song came on. I just was looking around, and I was like, this is such an amazing song. I was like, I love this, just jamming out here. And I pull up the music video, and I'm like, what? Yeah, it was the whole thing. There may have been drinking involved. That made it a little bit more exciting at the time, but escaping Kuwait for a little bit to go party it up.
I've got a great dancing video of Danica and I from our days in Kuwait
that I was trying to remember.
Yeah, I'm on a new level.
I'm on a new level.
Danica and I are very into gangster rap. No, we'll send that one, Maddie. You can throw that one out for us.
Oh my God, it's great.
Yeah, if you want to do it, then that's fine with me. But so Hey actually had to tell me what that WAP song was about.
Oh boy.
And I felt like an outdated old man, like an outdated dad.
Yeah.
An hour later, she looks at me and she goes, you look like such a dad right now. I'm like, what the fuck? What do you mean I look like such a dad? She's like, you got the dad shoes and the dad shorts. And I'm just like, whatever. At least I don't have a WAP. And it was just like, that, yeah. So
dad jokes.
Yeah, the dad jokes. It creeps up on you. But I mean,
that's hilarious.
I've heard the song. I think it's got good rhythm to it.
That's about all you can say about it.
It is what it is. But yeah, it's a good song. I mean, it's like Gin and Juice when I was younger. DJ heard Gin and Juice come on, because I had it on my playlist when I was working out.
Yeah.
He's like, Daddy, why is that person peeing on the radio? I'm like, let's change the song. So.
Oh boy.
Teacher man.
So we were talking earlier, and Danica, you were giving me an intro to F45.
Yes.
That's something that I'm actually very unfamiliar with. I've seen a couple of programs. My cousin did F45 for a while, and I looked at it and I was like, oh, this is awesome. It's kind of like CrossFit, but without the complicated movements. She did it in Dubai at F45, and she loved it for a while. And I think it's great, to be honest with you. I think it's a lot better, in my opinion, for people who don't want to go that extra level with CrossFit, because some boxes get a little crazy.
Yeah, well, and I think so the whole idea, I think originally when F45 was started was people who love CrossFit I believe, CrossFit is basically the franchise is very loose. So it's, basically you pay your fee, you get the name, but you can run things how you want. So every CrossFit gym you go to could potentially be a different experience. You might not be doing the same workouts that day. Training is different, coaching styles different, focuses are different. You're a part of this bigger community, but then your own community is individual in itself. So I think what F45 did is it took kind of that loose franchise model that CrossFit was using and wanted to make it a little bit more of like a hard set. So if you go to the F45 in Dubai or you're at the F45 where I'm at, you're doing the same workout for that day and it's going to be pretty much the same experience, As far as like coaches and stuff go, I mean, we don't really have a script or anything like that. There's like basic points you hit, but as far as like the actual programming in the class goes and the setup, it's going to be the same no matter what studio you go to. So it takes that, if you're unsure, like, what am I going to be walking into if I go into this gym? You don't have that with the F45, but you still get the functional exercises. There's not a lot of cardio equipment, which is kind of what, you tend to see in some of the boot camp classes, treadmills and the rowers and all of that stuff. A lot of people don't like running on those treadmills. So basically the only two items we have are the bikes and the rowers, which is very similar to CrossFit. So those are our only cardio equipment we have. Everything else is body weight. And then they split it into strength days and cardio days. So there's not necessarily like a body point focus, but it's, hey, on these days, we're going to be focusing on, using heavier weights. So all the movements we're going to do are going to include, some sort of calisthenic or, a weighted exercise. And then on cardio days, you're just going to be basically running around, jumping around, moving as fast as you can, doing burpees, doing high knees, jumping jacks. I mean, all of that stuff. So that's kind of how they split it up, which is nice. So it's a little bit lower impact, I guess I would say, for CrossFit, maybe a little less intimidating for people who are just starting out also. I think that's kind of the selling point of it. Makes it a little bit more welcoming.
I think what they did, I remember when I attended my first class, I did it in Minnesota. They were pretty new to opening there when I came back from Kuwait. And like looking at it from a facility management standpoint, they really solved a lot of those problems of like warm-ups and just like instruction and just how the class and everything is set up. Like, so for a business owner, like somebody can own an F45, like CrossFit, what you find is usually it's like somebody who started out as a member, right? Mm-hmm. Then they got into coaching and then they decided to open up their own gym. And now they're like doing everything, right? The programming, the cleaning, the, setting up the structure for the day, coaching the classes, like they're trying to do all of that. And this like kind of helped just streamline and systemize everything for a business owner. So like even coaches like you, they don't even have to come up with their own warm up, right? Like it's all done video.
No, all done. Yeah. So basically when you walk in the gym to come take a class, you'll walk in, obviously you check in. Once you get into the class, the coaches do a full introduction of the class. So you get, from the moment you walk in the door, they're going to say, this is what we're doing. This is your work. This is your rest times, because it's all HIIT. So you're always doing a work and a rest set. And then this is what your focus is going to be for that day.
So is it more of like an EMOM style? Like, is it like a 2 minutes of work, 1 minute of rest, or 1 minute of work? Like how, because that was my question about F45 is how's it structured? Is it like AMRAP style? Is it, like every minute on the minute? Is it circuit based where you go from circuit to circuit? I mean,
I would say you're probably looking at more of kind of that circuit. I mean, we also have they call it TABATA style. And it's like, we'll have 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest, or 30 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. Honestly, it really depends. So they have each workout has a name. So, and it's like either a strength name workout or a cardio name workout. And that template gives you what your work, your rest, if you have water breaks, if you don't, all of that stuff is kind of built in. And then they're just kind of plugging in those exercises. And they do typically outside of COVID, there is a certain, it's kind of like CrossFit in the sense, like when you program for CrossFit, you program for building up to, like, there might be a movement that you're working towards, right? When you're programming for CrossFit, the focus might be on like certain push-ups or whatever body position your, area you're trying to work on. F45 does something similar. So it's not, you don't notice it outwardly, but there might be like more of certain types of movements that are happening for that like 10-week period or whatever it is, because their focus for the first 8 weeks is this, and then it shifts into building strength in this section. So it really just depends on what workout you're like, what day you come on, if that makes sense. Yeah. So it really is, I mean, it's constantly changing. We have one
so it
that
looks like there's 16 workouts for cardio days. Like cardio is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and there's 16 different styles, right? Is that like kind of accurate? So like there's different names for them. So like I see like 22 So that one is longer sets and shorter rest. And then there's like one named Abacus, and that's like increasing work time, then decreasing work time. So like they each have their own different structure. And there's a lot of different like,
and that like Abacus is a sprint. So you're doing short work sets, short rest sets. But then we have some days where it's like you might start off doing a minute of work with 30 seconds of rest and then end on 20 seconds of work with 5 seconds of rest. So you might build down to that. So it's it's varied, and they're constantly coming out with new ones. Like there's a bunch, I think we just had 2 or 3 new ones roll out kind of during or pre-COVID that we haven't been able to do yet. And that's, so like that one would be, it's one of them, I won't say the name of it because I don't know if they've like fully released it or if it's just on our side, but it's actually a strength workout. But what they did is they took, basically you'll do 25 seconds or 30 seconds of this lift. And then without any rest, you immediately go into a cardio set for 15 seconds. So you're doing like high knees straight into for 15 seconds and then you get your rest. So now they're kind of doing like a combo one too, which is pretty cool to kind of see how your body reacts to like going from that slow movement, you're lifting heavy, to like immediately going into that cardio. So it's kind of nice how they're definitely trying to come up with more. They do listen to kind of feedback, which is nice, from coaches and gyms and, things like that. So they are trying to build, a better network. And I definitely see it. I mean, here in the US, I think it's exploding right now. Like it started off where like nobody heard about it. Now everyone's like, F45, what is this?
It makes sense.
Well, it started in Australia, right?
Yep. Started in Australia. Mm-hmm. And then I believe the first one in the US was in California, or at least that's their HQ. But yeah, no, now I feel like every city has one. I mean, shoot, even where my parents live now, there's one. So
yeah,
I love it because it's sort of like an evolution of CrossFit and probably what like sports like, CrossFit and like you said earlier, Orange Theory, all these things needed something more structured and, just kind of like you go in, okay, here's your water break, because people don't know. I mean, a lot of trainers, coaches assume that people know when to take a rest or know when to get a drink of water or know when to do something. And in reality, a lot of gym goers really don't. And I was having this conversation that there are people that go to these big bodybuilding gyms here in Kuwait that have recently opened up boxes, and you go in there and you just see the guys that don't know what to do at the lower levels, inside with all the machines and shit. They have no clue. So they go up to the box.
Yeah.
And then like, I mean, no offense to any of these big gyms, but you go up to their boxes and it's a shit show. It's almost like a bodybuilding class and not, a CrossFit class of what it's supposed to be. So it's like F45, I think, from what I've seen personally, and my cousin thought I was going to shit on it. Like my cousin thought I was going to rip it apart. And she showed me the program and I was like, that's actually not bad. I was like, that's really not bad. I was like, I wonder if I came there, would I kick their asses in a class? Like when she showed me the program she was doing because of the whole CrossFit thing. And it looks really cool. Do you guys do like, the big 4, big 5 lifts, like, a deadlift, a squat, like bench press, or is it, more shoulder to overhead stuff? Like how does the movements work and what are the movement capacities that you guys have?
We definitely, there's definitely, so on strength days, you're pretty standard. You're definitely going to be doing deadlifts. You're probably going to do front squat or back squats. We don't always do stuff like cleans, but definitely overhead presses, either strict or push press. Trying to think what else. I mean, it's funny because going from CrossFit to F45 was a super easy transition, because when it comes to the lift, like the strength days and the lifting side of it, it's very similar. The only thing I'd say is that we probably get a little bit more focus on some of the, like we're doing flies, like dumbbell flies and things that you might not necessarily see doing CrossFit. You might not be bent over doing bent over flies in a class, right? But in our class,
it's what CrossFit would consider like the accessory work.
Accessory. So it's a little bit more of a mix of that, getting some of that stuff in. We have a lot of like the balance trainer stuff. So doing a lot of balance work. So like we might do squats on balance trainers to get some of that core activation, stuff like that. So
I'm biting my tongue. I'm biting my tongue. Okay. I hate Bosu balls. All right. I fucking cringe at seeing someone on a Bosu ball doing like an RDL or some crazy shit. Like
Maddie, there's a new fitness thing. I'm gonna get them on it. It's called Zisa Fit, and it's basically an entire method all around like a miniature Bosu ball. I'm gonna bring them on for you.
I will never buy into it till the day I die, till I go to the grave. I will never buy into the Bosu ball, except for high-level athletes or athletes that are in a sports-specific game like baseball, football, basketball, and hockey. That's it. Other than that, there are so many more movements that you could do without a Bosu ball and gives you more bang for your buck. Sorry.
I would say no one's doing anything. There's no like RDL or anything like that. It's just like squats. Sometimes we'll do lunges on them just to have a little bit of Also, we're limited on equipment too. So depending on what it is or where you're at in the room, it's like we might have to, work around some stuff. So sometimes we'll use those just to add a little height to it or something, a little instability, just to get them working a little bit more, challenging them a little bit more. We use a lot of banded stuff. So like a lot of like the banded poles, things like that. That's kind of what you're looking at for strength. And depending on the temp, depending on the workout, like we have one where it's like you spend your first half of the entire class is spent doing one portion, like one section of the body. So you basically overwork your upper body. You get a quick water break, and then you're going to go in and you're going to just overwork and load the lower body, which is kind of nice. So I think it's constantly varied, which is kind of what CrossFit, the whole idea was functional fitness and constantly varied. That's what F45 has. Then you add in kind of the fancier, what I call like the bougier things, which is, that's why I was saying like kind of like the Orange Theory stuff. So we do have heart rate monitors. So it's optional. We don't require it like some do. Yeah. But yeah, we have the heart rate monitors. And the whole goal is you want to get to 45 points. So F45, keeping with it, 45 points is what you want to hit in a standard 45-minute class. So basically a point a minute. And that way it kind of forces like you compete against other people on the leaderboard, depending on your points too. So you also get that competitive side of it if you want to be a part of that. And some people really enjoy that. And it's also helpful, I think, from a coaching standpoint, it's nice because in a typical standard gym on non-COVID, you can get up to 36 people in a class. Typically with 36, you'll have 2 coaches for that, but that's still, especially on a strength day, that's a lot of people to have moving through a room doing different things. So it's nice as a coach to be able to look up at a heart rate monitor board and I'll know like if someone's doing cardio and they're in the blue zone, I'm going to immediately be over there being like, all right, buddy, we got to like pick it up here. It kind of helps, like it adds to the experience for the client, but it also kind of helps us out as coaches too. Cause you can't tell me that I'm looking at your heart rate monitor right now. I know you're not pushing yourself. Like we could definitely go a little bit harder today. So I kind of like that aspect of it too. And it also is a good way to track. I mean, they can see like what their heart rate was at during which workouts. It tracks all that, what their lowest point was, what their average and what their highest. They can kind of see the scale where they were at during the entire workout. And it tracks it all for them. And we also do like health challenges and all that stuff too. So it's good to have the monitoring system so you can track all your workouts and everything for that, which is pretty cool.
Do you guys have your own brand, or do you use like a MyZone, or is it you bring your own heart, like Polar, or like how does it work with you guys?
It's called Lionheart. That's what they call it. It's their own little system. I know like obviously I don't know the actual like company that made that specific Lionheart monitor, but I know like there are certain brands that can like link into it. So, I mean, I'm assuming they must use a fairly common one for their stuff, but yeah. So it's pretty cool. I mean, I really like it. I don't know.
How are the points calculated? Is it like, so you said blue zone, that's like a low intensity so it's like, or what? So like what they get into the red or something, then they get a point?
Yeah.
Or how does it work?
Yes, you're going to accumulate basically your points. So it'll even go down to like, I've gotten to where it's like, I'm like 44.8 or something like that. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I was that close. So depending on what zone you're in for the amount of time you're in is how it's going to accumulate your points faster. So obviously the harder you work and the closer you are to the red zone the entire time, the more your points are going to accumulate. You know what I mean? So, and that's kind of how it works. And then once a week, we have a 60-minute class. So the hour-long one, which is like a hybrid. It's a strength and cardio workout. That one, you have to get 60 points. So again, a point per minute.
Do you work in, so you've got your strength days, you've got your cardio days, you've got your hybrid days. Do they work in any, like, let's say you have somebody who wants to do this every day. Do you work in like recovery days for them, or what does that look like?
So F45 did create recently a recovery program that it's called Calypso. It's a stretch class is what it is. So typically, no, we do. Obviously, when you come into class, like I said, you go in, the coaches go over the whole workout. You go into a warm up and then you do the workout. And then typically, hey, see you later. Nice class. Bye. Depending on the facility, they don't encourage necessarily a cool down because they provide a recovery option to do at home. So F45 also has a challenge app. They do different nutrition challenges and fitness challenges. And that app is basically, it's really cool. Honestly, for people who, it's a really great idea. You put your information in, you put your membership information, like what gym you're going to. And if you join the challenge, it'll actually give you hey, here is recipes, here's your food log, here's your grocery list. Like if you're going to be a part of the challenge, it's what you get. Part of that too is you can go to an option in the app where it's called Train. You actually can get access to all the workouts through that as long as you have an active membership with a gym, and that includes that recovery one. So most of it is just education and just making sure that letting the members know, hey, go into the app, download it. This is how you get to it. This is what it looks like. It'll lead you right through it. You can do it while sitting in front of the TV if you wanted to. It times it for you. I mean, and it will cater it to specific. So like if it's a certain strength day or cardio day, it caters those stretches to those days. So it is kind of cool how they do it. We just don't do it in studio as much.
You guys are really ahead of the game, and I really mean that. And Meg knows I hate group fitness classes. Like, it's the Bosu ball and then group fitness classes. And it's funny because now I'm doing group fitness classes for a little bit of extra cash on the side because I'm still not working. And like, it's funny because I look at F45, I looked at the program, I'm listening to what you say. And for the everyday person that doesn't know, it's kind of like, dude, here, you're spoon-fed the right information at the right time that you need it. And it seems like, it's very well thought out. The programming seems pretty good. You guys are doing, and this is my knock on CrossFit too. I don't always support CrossFit, but this is my knock. They don't do enough accessory movement or movements that strengthen the smaller muscle groups. Like, I think a reverse fly is amazing. I think, a normal fly is one of the best movements you could do for your pecs and get a good stretch. The CrossFit, side will say, no, you're just tightening your pecs. But my argument to that is, yeah, but you're also getting that stretch reflex too. You're building that movement pattern. And you guys seem like you're taking it to the next level where you're doing these small movements. What other accessory work or what other movements are you guys doing that really kind of goes against the grain with CrossFit and the other group classes? Sans the Bosu Bell stuff.
Besides the Bosu.
Don't even say Bosu. Well, it's funny because like CrossFit's thing is constantly varied, right? So nothing should be off limits from CrossFit, but it's funny how it's that like goes against the grain, like you said, Maddie. But I don't know. I think it's just some of those, like, I think it's more of maybe like the options of like how a class is structured. Like it'll have like super setting options, which you would see like traditionally in like bodybuilding and not in a CrossFit class. Yeah. Or it would have, there's like, I was trying to look at the strength ones, Maddie, to see like which one you should go try out. And I was thinking the Red Diamond one might be the one that you like. It's
Red Diamond and Romans.
It's muscle fatigue. I think Romans would be Haya's. Hey, that's like just lift heavy every single time.
Red Diamond and Romans are probably the two that like every time I do that one, I leave and I'm like sore, like absolutely sore the next couple days. I'm like, it's been a while.
Look, you don't follow me on Instagram as much, I think, Meg, but I just had a strongman mini throwdown at my house last weekend where it was all strongman shit, like sandbag carries, Atlas ball carries, just picking up.
That shit's fun.
Yeah, dude, just picking up heavy shit and moving it as fast as you can. And it's funny, and I really hope no one's listening to this. The CrossFitters beat the powerlifters. I mean, it was kind of...
I hope people listen to it. I really hope people listen to this.
No, I hope no one that was there is listening to this. Because the CrossFitters, us CrossFitters, it was me and David, and I had a really good teammate. He's like 23, so, he's out there. And we did a number on those powerlifters. Like, we could lift heavy shit. And this is where I was like, wow, CrossFit isn't as bad as I thought it was when it came to functional movements. Because we could both pick up Atlas balls, move them fast, sled push, yoke carry.
This is awesome.
Yeah, dude, that was it.
Oh, yeah.
That was it right there. That was one of the things we did.
Yeah.
And then the powerlifters wanted to do deadlifts and bench press. I haven't bench pressed in 2 years. So I was like, I was right there. I only fell off one set. Dave matched them. And then on the deadlifts, we matched them on the deadlifts too. And it was funny because, when you try to move heavy shit and you're just doing it for the functional side of it and having fun, you'd be surprised. And if you just do 3 movements or 4 movements all the time, you're not going to be able to do that other stuff. There's no carryover. And, F45 seems like it's probably moving in that really functional direction. And I've seen some strong trainers from F45 too. Do they do the weird movements too? Like the, bar muscle ups, for instance. Can they do that shit, or is that like not anywhere in the programming?
There's definitely no muscle ups. They're pull ups.
Do they do like the butterfly shit, or is it like real pull ups?
Oh, no, strict. Yeah, definitely.
I have to say that like real pull-ups because CrossFitters will be like,
no kipping. Yeah, definitely.
But I can't cheat by kipping.
I know. I was like, man, I did a couple kipping the other day because I'd done it so long, and I was like, oh, this is just so much easier. I want to do this.
Yeah. But it's probably easier because you've been doing strict for so long. I found that when I backed off kipping and I only did a program for like 2 years, all I did was just strict shit. And when I went back to kipping, I was like, holy shit, this is
I remember
easier.
Swan diving and shit with you. So
Danica hated my pull-up programs.
It was just that stupid swan thing. Oh my gosh, I hate it. I can't move.
Swan? What is this? What? You got to talk about this.
It's like arching scap pull-in is what it is. So you hang, it's a dead hang.
Yeah.
And then you depress your scaps and then you push down on the bar with straight arms. So it's a straight arm movement. There's no bend in the elbows. And then you it's working into like a front lever, but that is
I like that.
Massive for your pull-up strength.
Oh yeah.
And you do it on a tempo.
I like that.
I'll send you the video, Maddie. There's one where she tries playing with me and like Ashley was with us too. And Ashley like drops out after like one.
Yeah, she does one and she's like, yep, that was good. Bye.
So it's basically kind of a straight arm lat pull down. Are you bringing your toes up? Are you bringing your belly button to the bar? Like what's...
Your legs are just kind of dead weight in it. You're more focusing on everything through the shoulders. So it's like that dead hang. You first depress the scaps and then you press down on the bar using, it's like a tricep heavy movement. But, and by arching and lifting your chest to get like up parallel to the ceiling is like the goal. So ultimately then like you'd build enough strength with that where your legs would be able to come up and it's like a front lever.
So it's like you're basically like this, and then your arms are here holding onto the bar. So you're basically like trying to start to go into this, but you're like kind of stuck here.
That's pretty cool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a great move.
That sounds like it'd throw my toes to bar over the roof. Like that sounds like a move that would...
No, it does, Maddie. It does.
Because I was doing a lot of lat straight arm. Rob had me doing a lot of straight arm lat pull downs for a while. And then my toes to bar went up.
Yeah.
And that's when it clicked in like, oh my God, if I just use the momentum plus a lat pull down, straight arm pull down, my toes to bar are going to go up. And it shot up like insanely.
It probably feel good on your low back too. It's good for your spine.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I even shortened up my kip. I shortened up my kip. I used to have this big, really long kip and then kind of like curl everything and it looked like shit. And now it's like this small little compact movement. It's like, it's like an evolution, but I really like that.
So
you guys send me that video.
Strict pull-ups only.
I'll send it.
Dude, I would love to go to an F45 class, but I won't do it in Kuwait. I'd rather do it in Dubai than in Kuwait.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how it's run in Kuwait, but...
Is there one in Kuwait?
There is one in Kuwait. There is.
Oh, wow.
I saw it. I don't know if it's like you guys over in the States, but Kuwait being Kuwait, I can see there is probably going to be variations.
I wonder...
Or did they just steal your name? Did they steal the name? Because that happens too in Kuwait.
No. I'm wondering.
No. Kuwait.
I'm wondering if there's a girl that I know, and she had mentioned knowing the person who was partnering in opening the F45 in Kuwait. I should reach out and see who it is.
Do you not want to say her name? You could type her name. I might know her because I've been following a couple of the F45 people here in Kuwait. The
girl that I know, she lives here and she's Lebanese.
Oh, okay.
So she just, so I don't know. I need to ask her again and find out. But yeah, that's funny. But I didn't realize it was open yet. I thought they were just in the process of opening because I made a joke like, hey, maybe we should go consult for like a few months and like just travel around the Middle East for a little bit. I was like, that could be fun while our gym is closed anyways. Yeah. You know what? Actually, so we were talking about kind of the CrossFit, the difference with F45. I think one of the other things I just thought of this, F45 does a lot of like sports agility movements, which you don't see in CrossFit. So you think like when you like doing almost kind of like those football moves, like the fast feet into like a half burpee.
Oh, that's
like
pretty cool.
A lot of like, so that also will do like the pull. So the agility pull. So you'll run like in between them, backwards, forwards. We do like icky shuffles.
So basically like doing suicides or, Texas up downs. That's what we used to call them, Texas up downs, where your feet move really fast, down, up.
Yep.
On the coach's whistle, so to speak, and then suicides. I personally, as a baseball coach, I loved suicides and up downs, like the Texas up down.
Yeah.
They were the best movements. And you guys do that? You guys do a lot of stuff like that, or?
Yeah, we do. We have like the, I don't know if you've seen them, the mats that have like they're called ladders, but they're mats you roll out and they have boxes and like you're supposed to like tap your feet in between. You do different ones. That's what that's a lot of stuff that we do also in addition to, again, like the strength and some of that other cardio stuff.
What's the age group? Like, can a teenager go? Like someone, is it a 16 plus thing, a 15 plus, or can someone as young as like 13 go and attend a class and do normal, like light weights with body weights just to get, because I think teaching younger people these movement patterns, especially with suicides, up, down, stuff like that, it does wonders not only for the body, but for the brain too.
Yeah.
So do you guys allow younger people in there, or is it strict in terms of ages?
Technically, we have an age limit, which is usually 14 or 15, around that. Again, I can't speak for every single facility. I mean, there could be some people who, are kind of being discretionary if they're mature enough or they're coming with a parent or whatever that is. I think it's kind of that. And honestly, it's hard. I mean, F45 sets like a standard, but again, it's hard too, because at least here, the way like it just depends on the gym really. But for us personally, it's probably around 14 or 15. But I live in Seattle, so I don't even see children usually. So in the city, so it's not.
Okay.
So I definitely am not seeing any high schoolers. I mean, the youngest typically is going to be like 18 or 19. They're probably going to the college around the corner. But for our specific location, I don't see that. Now, I have heard of, parents bringing their teenagers to the classes. I think, actually I take that back. I lie. I did have a husband, wife who brought their 2 kids. They had a son and daughter, both in high school, and they both came in. But again, they were with them the whole time. I think that kind of also makes a difference because, for liability reasons. And also as a coach, It's like, you don't want to become a babysitter too. So, I mean, you already feel like you are in some ways.
I love that. So you guys cater basically to all age groups, really. And, that's amazing, to be honest with you, because you said parents bringing their kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming they're probably early 40s, maybe mid 40s, or even late 30s. And, just kind of trying to get into that, get fit, get healthier type of deal. And, Meg says it all the time, just getting their body moving and so forth, just to get healthy. That's pretty cool.
Well, and I think that was kind of the other side of it too, is having a program that really anybody could just walk in off the street and do. And I think that's also part of, coaching too, is you should know your scaling options or, for each movement. I mean, ideally, that's the one thing F45 doesn't give you. They don't tell you, here is a pull-up. This is the scaling options you should do. But they don't get that detailed. I mean, they have a lot. I mean, they're already giving you program. We talked about the app already. I mean, there's a lot that's already going on. But when it comes to being on the coaching floor, the idea is, how you can scale that movement up or down depending on the person. And so when someone comes in, it's okay, if you can't do a squat, well, you know what, we're going to have you sit on a box and stand up. We got boxes, we can do this. Like, that's totally fine. So that's something that I feel like, again, CrossFit does that too. I just think because CrossFit has kind of the reputation of being a little bit more of a higher impact, a little bit more intimidating. You walk into an F45 and it's a little bit lower impact. It does seem more like kind of that Orange Theory style. So people are a little bit more at ease. So we do get a lot of people who have never worked out in their entire lives coming in. So you do have a very wide range of people that come in, which is kind of nice. It definitely keeps you on your toes as a coach too. And I know F45 had started, they didn't completely roll it out, I think with COVID and everything coming up, but there was actually kind of like a senior program. So for people who are, 65 plus, essentially, they were kind of roll out a separate program specifically for that age group that would be even lower impacts, because F45, we do a lot of jumping. That's the one thing. When we're doing cardio days, we're doing lateral tuck jumps, high knees, all that stuff. So it can be, box jumps. It can be a little, tough on the knees and stuff like that, the lower body. And there's some people that might not be able to do all that jumping.
Sorry, not to cut you off, but a tuck jump. You mean like a legit tuck jump up, grab your knees tuck, like a gymnastics-y tuck, or is it a different type of tuck? Just to be clear for the listeners and myself too.
Yeah. Yeah, we're doing like flips and stuff. So no, it's woo. Yeah, it's just so how like when you do high, so basically you're just jumping as high as you can and bringing the knees forward and getting them up as high towards the chest as you can. You're not like hugging or anything like that. It's just the idea, instead of doing like just jumping in the air, which normally bring your feet back, so like towards the butt, you're basically just bringing the knees up, just like you would in high knees, essentially.
All right. I thought it was like a legit tuck, like jump up in the air, grab your knees, and then bring them back down to the ground.
I mean, some people probably could do that. I'm
definitely trying that after this episode, to be honest with you. Like,
oh, okay.
Record it for us, Maddie.
I will. I'll tag you both in it.
Yeah, so I think it's kind of neat. I think F45 is really thinking about the future. So honestly, I think with that rolling out, it really would not surprise me if they didn't do kind of of follow with kind of what CrossFit did and kind of did like a kids or a youth programming, I would not be shocked if something like that came out, or some sort of like kids camp version or like whatever. I really like if they rolled that out and like in 2021, I would not be surprised at all. I could definitely see them going some sort of direction like that, or maybe even doing like a beginners, almost like an on-ramp for people who have never been to a gym, who don't know what squatting is, who don't, because that's the other thing. You come into a class and you come in, you walk in and you're kind of thrown into it. Obviously you have coaches there that, typically if there's a new person, the idea is that's why they really like having two coaches. That one coach can kind of, help all the, the 2 or 3 new people in the class. The rest of the other coach can kind of keep walking, encouraging, making sure everyone else is set up. So you still kind of get that individualized, portion a little bit. You're constantly being corrected. We walk, constantly moving through the room, constantly making sure people are doing things right. Because at the end of the day, you want to make sure everyone's moving safely and you want them to leave and know what they're doing. You don't want them to go to the next gym and it's like, that deadlift looks horrible. It's like, I don't want them to say that about having been at F45 or me as a coach, so you really kind of take pride in it. You want to grow them. And it's awesome seeing people, achieve some of their goals, watching someone who walked in the door and, couldn't do a push-up even on their knees. And now they're freaking doing push-ups, normal push-ups, even if it's just 1 or 2, it's awesome. That confidence, it's just, I don't know. That's why I like group classes.
Yeah. I did appreciate that when I went to a class, and being like a coach myself and a more, seasoned athlete, it's easy for people to see in a class where there might be beginners, right? It's easy for coaches to even brush by and not say a word to me during a class. And I really appreciated that, having those videos up front of a demonstration of what the movement is supposed to for people to keep their eyes on and see. And then the coach can kind of walk around and give little cues. I did feel like I got more coaching and attention in a class, which is nice because I forget shit too. I like to be reminded.
I guess I should say that. So just so people listening understand. So in an F45 studio, you have TVs in the front of the room. So you can see as normally you move through stations or whatever it is, you can see what the movement is. There's a demo on the screen of the person doing the movement. So not only do coaches go through demo, give you scaling options, and then you start the class, but you then have that live TV demo that is just rolling through for the whole class. So you can see at each point wherever you're a station you're at, you can look up and be like, that's what I'm supposed to be doing if you forget, or you need to note, how am I supposed to move? So even if the coach isn't there, right when the buzzer goes to start, it's you still have that cue to look at. You still have something that you can see to know what you're doing, which it is really helpful to kind of have that on there. I was like, that would probably help, but yeah. So no.
That's awesome. Now, what are the qualifications of the coaches that coach at F45? And do you guys, what is your quality control, so to speak? We talked a little bit about Kuwait a little while ago. And, for the listeners that are, around the world, Kuwait's a very relaxed country, I would say. Quality control is something we definitely don't have. I think, Meg, both of you guys can agree there ain't shit for quality control here.
Yeah.
If you have a road built, it's probably going to fall, break, and crumble, and you'll just have sand. But anyways, because that did happen a couple of years ago. What is F45's quality control, not only in the United States, but globally in terms of the instructors that are instructing the class? I'm sure, is there an F45 certification program? What's the criteria there?
So there's not necessarily a certification program, but obviously you do have to be a certified coach. So you have to have, a recognized certification for training, obviously up to date, all that stuff. But F45 also gives you, basically as trainers, we have a portal that we can go into, and we actually have to, so when you first get hired, you basically have it's almost when you start a job and you have to sit in the back and you go through all the slides, and it's okay, this is what for this, and this is this is what sexual harassment is, this is what this is, blah, blah. And you go through all those slides and you pass, and then now you're onboarded. F45 does something similar to that for training. So it's basically you get on and they basically teach you okay, let's break it down. These are all the current workouts that are out. You need to know what it is. You have a little test at the end. You go through all that. You do a trainer video. They actually do this little test thing. You video yourself doing you have to do so many burpees in this amount of time or whatever it is. And that's part of it. And then every time we go into a new programming schedule, you're required to go into your portal and you actually have to refresh, go through all the workouts that are going to be a part of that new basically 10-week program and make sure that again, we need to make sure you know what each of those are, what the templates stand for, what the focuses are. So they do keep up with trying to make sure that you're educated. But I mean, it's kind of like any other gym, you submit a resume and, you seem like you're great on paper, but until you really get in there, so most places will do like a trial period. They'll have you like come take a class, see how you move, because obviously they want to make sure you know how to move before you coach. And then typically you do have some sort of like onboarding, like kind of like trial period that you go through. So I would say it's probably similar to most places. It's just on the back end, we have kind of that extra, kind of educational portion that, most places don't have.
That's pretty cool. I mean, that's good. I like when you guys do have new things coming up that people have to refresh. I think that's really important. And it's so easy I think the best part is like when it's one template for an organization, it's so much better because then everyone's speaking the same language versus what you said earlier with CrossFit. It's like, dude, there's apples, oranges, and lemons. And, in Kuwait, there's friggin' date trees too. So, there's so much going on, like I went to one CrossFit box here. They were doing bar muscle ups. I go to another CrossFit box and, they're doing like basically a bodybuilding circuit. And I'm just like, where there's zero synergy in CrossFit anymore. There's nothing where the brand works together. And I think that's the biggest knock that I have on it. But you guys seem like you have, your shit together, excuse my language. And we are not sponsored by F45. I just have to get that out there. We're definitely not sponsored by you guys. But I mean, from what you're saying, like, I really like this stuff. Like, it sounds like something I would recommend to people that I know that are trying to get into fitness for the first time. I'd be like, dude, go do this. And you guys have F45 competitions, right? If I'm not mistaken, I saw something where it was like an F45 comp.
Here in the States, they did like a big like field day sort of thing. And they had kind of the big name like coaches, go out. We're kind of like running drills with people, doing little competitions and stuff like that. Kind of a fun that was probably a couple of years ago. And it was kind of when F45 was becoming popular in the US. But they have something called playoffs, which it's a competition, but it's more of like a benchmark. So when you think like CrossFit competition, you think like, you have the leaderboard, you have that, you have all this stuff, and there's like, you're going to like win this prize or whatever it is. So they have that in Australia a little bit just because it's a little bit bigger and they, you can go compete. And I think you can win like some money and stuff, but it's almost like you could just walk up and like go and do it. It's not like you don't have necessarily like a pre-qualification. It's just this one set. You run through it. You basically have to do, you have so many seconds to complete each movement. One of them is like, there's the rower, there's bench hops, there's thrusters, there's burpee box jumps.
You guys do thrusters? Like you do thrusters in F45?
Yeah. So we do thrusters. Yeah.
I'm liking this F45 shit.
I was really sad about that when that came up. I was like, really? I can't even escape thrusters. My gosh.
That's awesome though.
So we do thrusters, pull-ups. There's the dead ball over the shoulder. I think there's the twist. I think that might be all of them. I feel like there's one more. I think there's like a sled push or a sprint that's also in it.
That sounds like fun.
But basically what they do though is you can have like a live leaderboard connected. And so what you do is whoever wants to try it, you go through, one of us coaches basically scores you, scorecard, counts your reps. You get points based on the number of reps you get. They also divide it. So like the one thing I think we'll see how that goes. They don't separate it like gender. I mean, I think you can, but like for us, it's like we just put everyone on one. But the way they weigh the points is, so like if you're a female and you did like 10 pull-ups versus a man who did 10 pull-ups, the woman is going to be weighted just a little bit higher on that, let's say, or something like that. It's kind of how that works. But yeah, so you can go through it and it's a lot of fun, but basically then you can see what your total points are. You can see your total reps and where you measure up to, and you can do it by like your region or you can do it like overall. So you could literally have a TV up and like as your gym's going through it, you could just have your facility or like we're a franchise and we have 4 right now that are like under one franchise or under one owner. We could have all 4 studios going at the same time and have a leaderboard in each of them and comparing who's like at which spot. So it's really fun. So you almost get this live, like kind of scoring that's going through. So like as people finish, you enter it in, automatically pops them up onto the board. So it's kind of fun, but it's just it's just you go in, you do the one thing and then that's it. So I feel like as much it's a competition, but to me, it's more like a benchmark workout. It's to see where am I at now and where do I compare to everyone? Maybe I guess you could say it's like the qualifications for, the games and stuff like that. You kind of, when you're going to regionals, you can see like based on your workout where you are. That's like how it is. It's more like that. But I know in Australia, they do a huge one where, I mean, like they have like a barge that pulls up and like people get on, they film it. It's like they're going to level. I mean, it's very, very fancy, but we haven't quite gotten there yet, but we'll see how it goes in the next like couple years.
That sounds awesome. I got a two-part question for both of you. One, it's for you and Meg, because we're creeping up on the hour mark here. And just real quick, and what's F45 doing virtually? And I say this because I have my little box working where I get American TV again, which is awesome. And I see so much stuff for virtual fitness. And where's F45 going at? Because it looks like gyms, brick and mortar gyms are going to close down from all the shit I'm seeing right now, especially in the United States. And I saw something by Lululemon. You like this, Meg? I saw it by Lululemon. The mirror, yeah. And I looked at it. I looked at Hey, and I go,
Lulu's bringing us down.
They're going to destroy the market. I looked at Hey, I go, holy shit, they have done it. They have actually created something that I would fucking use, as a fitness person. You know what I mean? Like, this was something that I would have used like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, if it was available, because it's done well. It's done extremely well, and it's clean, and it's everything. So where do you guys see the fitness industry in the United States going right now with all this virtual stuff after COVID? And, obviously boxes have closed down. I'm sure gyms have closed down. So how far do you think F45 is going to take the virtual thing right now with all the shutdowns? And then Meg, you can talk about the mirror thing, which I think is fucking awesome, by the way.
That's awesome.
Oh, I know. I'm trying to, honestly, I mean, like I said earlier, we have the app, which has all the workouts recorded on it already. Like, so you can pull it up at any time you want. Right now during COVID, I mean, most gyms are doing obviously some sort of lives, either whether it's Instagram live, Zoom live, whatever it is. I don't think that there's yet the push to go fully digital or do anything like that. And I think it's just because there's a lot going on right now with a lot of big, I know there's oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the name. Meg, you probably know the big like sports international group that they're actually quoted on like CDC's website and stuff for like if you need information about fitness and health and all that. But they're pushing to basically go to Congress to pass, some grants and all these things to basically change gyms into being considered more on, health, wellness, essentials, and also give them some of the bailouts that are needed. So there's a lot of that. I know a lot of the big heads of, I know like HQ CrossFit is trying to get involved in it, obviously, to push it. I'm pretty sure the HQ for any of these big gyms, I'm sure Planet Fitness is even involved in this.
Well, yeah, they want to make money. I mean, it's corporate America. It's corporate. They want to shut down the poor bastard who's, mopping their own floors so that they can, get bailout money and make an extra buck off of this thing. It's typical capitalism right there.
I think they're kind of waiting to see how that goes. And plus, like, I think it's hard for them because the one thing I feel that they've done really well, at least F45 has, is you are talking about a company that is pretty new on the market. It's not, that old. And they were able to, you have people who are completely open, they don't have any lockdowns going on right now, to people like us who like we're having to do lives. So to be able to cater their programming to such an extensive, that's why I'm saying when really that app that I was talking about really came out probably in March, April, May. Like I think they did it because of the situation we're in to give gyms an option. But also it's when you go in there, you have the option of body weight or if you do have equipment. So it's like they even have it to the point where like if you're a gym who can't move stations, okay, and you're basically in like what they call it circuit. So you're stuck in your box, okay? That means like they've basically made a program for the studios that fits that specific phase. You know what I'm saying? And then they have the phase for like each phase basically has a new programming model and you can literally just load it onto your TVs. The programming's there. It's really awesome what they've done. So I feel like I'm sure they have thought in their heads, if something goes, like what would we do? And honestly, it would mostly just be in the US, let's be real, or maybe Europe, but the rest of their locations are in other international spots that seem to be opening back up. So I don't know that they're too worried about like the US side. I think they kind of see eventually us opening back up, but you never know. Who knows? I hope so. But yeah, there's plenty of online options right now. So I don't see them doing anything too big yet.
Yeah.
Meg, Miss Lululemon mirror thing. Like, dude, you guys are going to fuck the industry. All right. That commercial that I saw, I was like, I want to buy that just because it looks so fucking pretty.
Yeah.
It's just like this sleek fucking thing. And you get this kick-ass trainer and whatever. I mean,
it's the invisible gym, right? Like,
I mean, look at Peloton. My God, they're having their best
Peloton. Yeah, that's another one, dude. You guys have some cool shit over there.
Yeah.
All right, you guys have some really cool shit in the United States that I hope we get.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like Peloton, I actually know people in town. Like, I mean, because it is an expensive piece, but I have like friends that like will go in on it, and then like they have it at like one person's house. Like they live like all in the same kind of area, and they'll like put it outside, and they'll all like take turns on it. And so like people are obsessed with Peloton. But the mirror, the draw there is like it's an invisible gym. So it's like it takes up less than 2 feet of space on your wall. And it's a mirror when you're not using it. And then when you are using it, there's like an image of the trainer, whatever class you're doing. There's a trainer on there like doing the class that you're doing. And then you see yourself in there as well. So you can do like cardio, you can do kickboxing, you can do dance, you can do yoga. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. You can also link like your, heart rate monitors and that kind of stuff to it. So as well, so you see like your metrics on there, but basically then it's like a giant Apple Watch where it stores all your information on there as well. So you can really like personalize things.
Oh, so they get all the information too.
Yeah.
They get it all.
Yeah. Come on. Yeah.
They get all that. They get your heart rate. They get all that shit.
Yeah. So they set like a target heart rate for you or like calories or like beats per minute, that kind of stuff. And then you can see other people joining the class.
Here's my key question here.
Yeah.
Can they do marketing like to people when they're on? Like, can they be like, all right, well, she's lost 5 pounds, so you know what? Maybe we should start like,
I'm sure that's all connected.
Sending messages for like the slim whatever.
Oh yeah,
bullshit.
I'm sure that's all connected. Yeah, totally.
That's insane, dude.
Yoga workout. And it's like, hey, we just got these new yoga leggings that you might really enjoy. And you're like,
yeah,
damn it, now
absolutely.
I'm buying them.
It's gonna cater to all that.
Yes.
Yeah, there's nothing that's secret anymore. Like this has been.
No.
How much does it cost? Like honestly, it looks so fucking nice that I would buy it for my sister who lives in the States as a Christmas present because I think it just looks nice. I mean, I would want something that cool, to be honest with you.
It's awesome.
We're not sponsored by Lululemon, just so everybody knows.
We're not sponsored by Lululemon. Not yet. No. Okay, so you can get it right now. It's about $1,500. But there is a deal right now where I think you get like $400 off. I think it's Holiday 20 is the code. I'll confirm that in a second. You can try it for 30 days, risk-free. So if you're not 100% satisfied with it, you can send it back.
Meg, we're not sponsored by Lululemon here, all right?
There is a warranty included.
We're not sponsored by it, all right?
I'm letting people know how they can get it. But yeah, right now
you
it's...
sound like the infomercial that I saw the other night.
I know.
Or sorry, the other morning. And I love it because I'm seeing all these infomercials and I'm like, shit, am I really missing out on all of this? Like, are we that far behind in Kuwait, like in the Middle East?
I feel like it's going to be a little bit like, I don't know, maybe to your delight, Maddie, like the death of group fitness. But I think there's always still going to be a place for like personal training and one-on-one and that human connection. I think that...
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Yeah.
This is a great thing. I wonder about the longevity of it. I don't know. I feel like we're just getting... I think there's still nothing better than like human connection and working out with other people or having a place to connect. And
I mean, every study has shown that when you work out with people, especially
you're more
doing
likely
the
to continue,
same thing,
you have better results.
Yeah, you're more likely your average heart rate is higher because you're pushing yourself more because you feel that like I have to keep up or I have to beat the like whoever I'm with. Like that mentality, like you do push yourself.
Let's look at times right now. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, all right? But look at the times and everything that's going on.
Not yet.
I know, right? How people are being pushed away from each other.
Right.
With everything that's going on. Whether people believe in COVID, they don't believe in COVID, I don't give a shit. Personally, I wear a mask. It's, out of self-protection. And whether it's real, not real, I don't give a shit. I'm not taking the risk. That's just me. But, I mean, with the way things are going and the shift of paperless money and buying everything online and, boxes closing down, the social distancing, the wearing masks, not seeing who's in front of you, it's some scary fucking shit, especially for businesses. And... it's like maybe this is the fitness industry's turn of this is where the big guys will take over with, like Under Armour. I'm sure Under Armour is going to get on top of this at some point. Nike's already on board. Lululemon, which is your biggest fitness brand for, the upper tiers there, I would say. It's is bouge the right word or is that
It's a higher higher price point.
Yeah, I don't want to get Meg in trouble. I don't want to get you in trouble here, all right?
You're
So
fine.
I'm trying to be good here, all right? I'm trying to be very...
I mean, but great customer service, all right? I mean, they'll hymn those things for you for free. I mean,
See?
I don't know.
Dude, for the price?
I know we're not sponsored,
For
but
the goddamn price? Jesus Christ, the one in Kuwait, holy shit.
they're lifetime. I mean, it's like lifetime based. I go in, I'm like, hey, this like broke. Like, can you fix this? And they'll be like, no,
dude.
choose another pair. You're good. And I'm like, oh, thank you.
Right?
Even though it's been a year and a half.
Dude, their shorts wouldn't fit around my knees, and I have skinny legs. My thighs are big. Like, if I wore their shorts, they would rip. I don't care what material they are. Like, I saw someone doing stuff in Lululemon. I was like, dude, your shorts are riding up your ass, man. Like, you shouldn't be wearing those, you know? And they're made for, like, smaller guys, which is cool. Like,
No, they're not.
dude, they
you
are.
could do
All right. Like, dude, I can't fit in that shit. I'm not buying a double XL, all right? Like,
I don't think you've tried on the right fit. I think you need to go into. I'm going to send
It's
you.
like this
I'm going to
big.
set it
It's
up.
tiny. It's
Maddie,
tiny.
I'm going to set it up, and I know who's running the store, and I'm going to set it up, and you're going to go in, and you're going to do a fit session, and you're going to find out what
Fine,
you really
I'll do
love.
that.
Kuwait does like their medium. So, I mean, I
Kuwait
could see
does,
that.
yeah.
Look, I'll walk in there and I'll be walking out with like a Happy Meal. All right, that's the size of the clothes for me. It's like a little. I'll get like a
you
little
could-
cheeseburger. All right.
You could also go do some F45 classes, lean those thighs out a little bit.
There you go.
Hey, I like my big bulky thighs. If someone could give me a fix for my freaking for my calves, my tiny calves, if someone could give me, if I get one more, did you miss leg day? I will fucking kill them. Okay, because I have strong legs. They just don't develop. Like, if you look at my dad's 6'3", really big. He's a hefty guy. He's a plus size guy. But then you look at his legs, they're tiny. It's just our bodies. That's just genetics. Shitty genetics. That's all I got to say. But Lululemon.
I feel you on the calves.
I mean, look, their shirts are nice. I wanted to buy a baseball tee from there when I was in Boston. And then when I looked at the price, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go down to friggin' Dick's down the road and buy it for $8. They're on sale rather than paying $80. But the material is nice.
You'd have to replace that $8 one like 10 times before that $80 one will even start
look,
to wear.
I've had the same
It's
baseball
the
tee.
technology. Listen,
I'll
love
show
it.
you the same baseball tee that I've had for 20 years. All right, it's faded just a little bit. I still wear that shit.
Yikes. How does it smell? It's got stains all over it, I'm sure.
No, but it's
the
nice.
technical
Look, the stuff's
education
nice.
is different. The technical is different on Lulu. It's like there's like silver. We've talked about this before. I think when we had our EMF episode, I talked about how my Lulu will protect me from 5G waves. There's like silverescent in it, which is antimicrobial and things that if we want to talk conspiracy theories, I'll get into it. But anyway, it's
like
good for you.
another few hours.
Yeah. We'll do a Lulu episode. We're gonna get some great people on.
Oh no!
Yeah, we are.
If we're
And we're
doing
gonna send
a
Maddie in for a fit session, and
Look,
we'll get into it.
You get me that fit session, all right?
Yes.
And I'll take pictures and I'll send them to you. I guarantee you, I will look like the awkwardest son of a bitch when I put on those clothes.
I can't
'Cause
wait.
they just-
I can't wait.
Who
Dude,
are you
it's
gonna
the
have do the
cut.
fitting?
It's the cut, though. It's like the European cut. I can't buy clothes in Europe. Even if I buy an XL or a double XL, it just looks weird on me. It just doesn't fit. Like, for me, it just doesn't fit right. But if I go to, like, other brands like Under Armour fits me perfectly. I love Under Armour. It fits my body, like, to a T. And come on, ladies, like, there are certain brands that fit our bodies really well, and there are certain brands that don't, just because of the cuts, And Haya thinks I'm against Lululemon, and I shit on her parade when she got to go to the store. She was pissed because I kept talking about price points. And then we walk out. I'm like, why didn't you buy anything? She's like, you're complaining about the prices the whole time. I'm like, I'm the husband. I'm supposed to.
She needs to just go by herself.
I know. That's what
Yeah.
she said. That's what she said. She's like, I'm just going to go by myself without you. And I was like, all right, that's fine.
She just needs to go by herself.
But
yeah.
no, I like their stuff. Look nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I never could get on the Stance socks bandwagon.
Yeah.
Me
That's
either.
mainly because of the calves thing too. I was just like, oh my gosh, I look like I have little twigs.
Do you have small calves?
Oh yeah.
You do? Oh, that's awesome.
I have tiny calves and they're not exactly even, which drives me nuts. Even though I do calf raises on the small, it's like nothing happened. I'm just like, I give up, whatever. So
How are they not even? Have you actually measured your calves? I've never done that, by the way.
I have. And I've done like, when you do like the body scans and it like measures like your like muscles like on each side of my left lower leg is definitely a little bit lacking than the right side.
Now I'm gonna start measuring like my calves and shit, and I'm gonna be obsessed.
Oh my God, we've created a whole new complex.
I didn't even notice it until I put a pair of Stance socks on, and I was like looking at my legs, and I was like, oh my God, I can't wear these anywhere. I got rid of all of them. I gave them away. I was like, I can't even own these anymore. Like, go.
Yeah, I
Hilarious.
mean,
Too much
it was
shame.
embarrassing. At Circuit Plus, they're like,
do they sell them at Circuit Plus? Seems like they sell everything there.
No, we just had coaches that had like a addiction that they were ordered all the time and constantly coming in. It was like the status symbol of the coaching staff.
Dude, I don't get the obsession. All right, this is one thing I haven't figured out with the fitness industry is the obsession with like clothes and workout gear. And like I used to wear the Under Armour, like I had the matching camo shirt and the matching camo shorts. I probably have a picture. I'll post it from years ago. And it was when I was in that little like bubble. And now it's like to the point where I'm like, all right, I'm just going to wear whatever the hell I pull out of the closet and whatever I feel the most comfortable in. And CrossFit is one of those things where now it's like, you have the socks, you have the grips, you have the this, you have the whatever else, the Rogue shirts or whatnot. And yoga, it's Lululemon. All right. Yeah. I'm not dissing. What's F45? Just out of curiosity. Do you guys have like a thing?
Not real. I mean, people love their Lululemon. Okay.
Really?
Lulu, Fabletics, and then Aloe is another popular one. And then Metcons. People love their freaking fancy Metcons. Like I love them. They just love them.
Dude, I ditched Metcons and I've gone against the grain. Under Armour has a new like Metcon version and I went with theirs and oh my God, like so much better than the No Bull shoes too. Like I fucking love them. I loved them. Don't
own any of that. Like I think I own one pair of Metcons and I got them from working the Dubai Fitness Championship for free. I didn't like them. I didn't. Same thing with the Reeboks. I thought the bottom, it's like plasticky and kind of heavy to me. I don't like it. I'm all about the New Balance cross trainers personally. They're light. I can literally fold them up. I can run. I can do anything. Box jump. That's my favorite. Constant go-to.
I haven't tried New Balance in a long time, and I like New Balance because they have a wide foot, and I have a really weird foot, so it's wide. And New Balance has always fit me, but then I got into the whole, you're CrossFit, so you got to wear Metcons. I tried the Metcons. I didn't like them. Then you got to try the No Bulls. I got the No Bulls. I liked them for back squats, but in rope climbs, I did not like them. And then I switched back to the Metcons. I was like, these things suck. I tried the Nanos. Like, dude, this whole spiel of what's going on with shoes, like, it's just, I mean, too much these days.
Rope climbing sucks in general. So, I mean,
If you get the J-hook well, it's easy. And
then you're
it took me a while of just sitting on a bench doing J-hooks, but, it was the most mundane thing in the world of doing 40 J-hooks just sitting down on a box. It was so boring. But I knew what was going to happen afterwards, and sure enough, it was easy after that. We should all do an episode on rope climbs.
Oh, yeah.
What'd you say, Danica? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
I said my shins are all messed up from rope climb. Every time we do rope climbs, it'd be the day that I wore shorts instead of leggings, and I was like, cool.
We'd always have to put out notices of wear long socks or pants. Tomorrow is rope climbs.
Dude, long socks and pants didn't do shit for me. All right. I still got my legs were still torn up. My forearms were torn up.
I need to see your rope climbs. I'm like, forearm. Oh,
I'm aggressive.
Tore up or just tired?
He's clinging on.
Are you rope burning your forearms? What is happening here?
Look, I get scared at the top. I will be honest. Okay. I'll be 100% honest. When I get to the top, I get really scared. And then on the way down, the way up's easy for me, but the way down is when I really freak out. And I think it's because I fell a couple of years ago. It's still there. And when I grasp it, I'll kind of put my forearms like this.
Okay.
Yeah, so I kind of get it right there. And yeah, it's not fun at all. That's why whenever you see my Instagrams, I try to get the way up, but never the way down because it just looks fucking ugly as hell.
God, that's hilarious.
Sometimes I fall halfway, I'll jump off halfway down, but I mean, that's just me. But dude, F45, freaking awesome in my opinion.
Yeah.
Last thing on F45, Danica, is Mark Wahlberg still a thing with F45? Is that still?
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg and
holy shit, you have Marky Mark?
Yeah.
Holy
shit,
you
was
have
gonna
fucking
get
Marky
about
Mark?
That.
Dude, I'm sold on F45.
So,
Marky Mark is doing F45.
Wahlberg,
I'm fucking sold.
He's
I'm
invested
sold.
heavily into it. Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg is a U.S. partner now, and so I think I don't know if he's a partner, but My gosh, I can't believe I'm forgetting his name. He's really well known for being in Saved by the Bell.
Screech?
Mario Lopez?
Yes, Mario Lopez also does like a ton of the workouts.
Casey
So like,
Slater?
yeah, he'll do like Instagram lives, and Mark Wahlberg will show up. He'll show up. The main like dude that's in all the demo videos will like show up, and they'll like do these whole lives. That's pretty cool. He did a whole tour where he popped into random F45s, just like showed up for a class.
So there's a chance if I do F45, I'll meet Marky Mark. Okay, I have a girl crush on Marky Mark, all right? I have like a crush on, like Marky Mark. If I could date an actor and it had to be a male, it would be Mark Wahlberg.
Aww.
Like Mark Wahlberg is the fucking man, all right? Like his movies are awesome, even his shitty ones. He's like, I'm a super fan. So like if I can meet Mark.
This is why I did not mention Mark Wahlberg in the beginning, because I knew this would turn into a Marky Mark episode.
If he was on Lululemon, if he did Lululemon, I would wear fucking Lululemon, all right? I love Marky Mark, all right?
I love it.
Like, yeah, Marky Mark, that's awesome. I'm up for F45, dude. I'll try it.
Yeah, no, I honestly, I think for anyone who, is just looking for a nice group class where, it's a little bit of that lower impact, but you're still going to get a lot of that like fat burn in addition to building that strength. I mean, honestly, it's really, really worth checking it out. Going from, I feel like I've coached everything from boot camps to, individual stuff, but like going from CrossFit to this, it's nice. I definitely think people who, even if you've done CrossFit, go in and try it. Because most of the time in CrossFit, we don't do 45-minute HIIT workouts. We're not usually moving for a full 45 minutes like that. So it definitely is. You'll be tired. You'll be sweaty for sure. It's great.
Just before we wrap up, I want to go back to Meg's recovery question, because if you are doing it for 45 minutes, you're definitely going to fucking trash your central nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's given, especially if you're a balls out kind of person when you go into a workout. Like, like my first CrossFit class, I thought I was going to die the next day just because I went too hard. Now, with that, like, do you guys manage clients a little bit better? Like if someone goes really hard in a class, do you be like, hey, you might want to tone it down tomorrow? Or like, is there anything else that's given from the instructors to the novice trainee that goes in there?
I think typically, I can only speak for kind of how my location handles it. Most of the workouts you can kind of tone down. So it's not necessarily, if it's someone's first day, probably going to try and put them in maybe like a strength class, go a little bit lower on the weights, a little bit slower, especially if they've never done anything. If I have someone who comes in and they're like, oh, I've been doing group classes, but I want to try this out, I'm more likely to put them in any class that's available at that point, because I know they've been doing stuff. But for someone who probably hasn't done anything, I try to put them in a slower moving class, because I just feel that a lot of times when you come into a really high intensity cardio workout and you've never worked out before and you feel like you have to stop all the time or you can't complete the class, you're going to leave feeling a little bit down on yourself, as opposed to if we kind of make it so that I know that, hey, you can like go as slow as you want in this class. More than likely, I feel like you get more of that positive experience. They're seeing themselves like actually, you're sore the next day, and I feel like you're more likely to come back. I typically try to get someone to start, if they've never done anything, I try to get them to come to a strength day and then follow it up with a cardio day. And then typically after the first 2 classes, I'll tell them, maybe take a day or 2 off, see how you're feeling, come back in and kind of go from there. But yeah, as far as like, specific stuff, they typically try to push you to do at least 4 classes a week as the goal, if it's the only thing you're doing. Minimum 4, which I feel like CrossFit is similar to, like they usually say minimum of 3 or 4 if you're doing CrossFit too. So it's kind of that standard thing. But again, it just, for us, it depends on, how experienced the client is too. So we do take that into account if, whether they've never done anything or they've been doing something. So that definitely does weigh into how many classes we try to get them into and kind of what classes we're choosing for them. Like I'm definitely not going to put someone in a 60-minute hybrid class that has never done anything or hasn't worked out in 6 months, because that's even hard for someone who's been working out to do 60 minutes of just straight movement. So I'm definitely not going to put someone in their first time to do something like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Honestly, and Meg knows how much I shit on group fitness classes. And I like this F45 thing. I like where it's going. To be honest with you, I really like where it's going. I like that there's quality control. I like that there's one, syllabus, so to speak, that goes across the board globally. It's really nice. Like that's something that either that or I've gone soft with the whole fitness thing. Like I'm not sure here, but I think it's pretty smart and it's pretty cool, dude.
I think it's just going in with the new trend. I know me and Meg have talked about this a lot. Going into that trend of focusing more on listening to your body and the mindfulness and kind of lowering the impact. And it doesn't always have to be, max, 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 go, go, go. If you're not puking, you're not working hard enough. Like, it doesn't always have to be that way. And I feel like people, even in the fitness industry, are starting to kind of turn a corner with some of that stuff. And you want people to succeed. And not everyone is going to come in and wants to compete or cares about, you know, what their time is or whatever. You know, some people just want to come in and it's their social or they want to work out. It's, you know, they're doing enough to like, you know, maintain or get into like whatever shape they want to get into or what their goals are. But, you know, that's kind of what I think I like about the new trend. And I think that's kind of what F45 saw is, okay, CrossFit seems to be a little bit intimidating, a little bit high impact. Let's try and create something that gives them the same kind of movements, that same idea, but something that, you know, anyone can do at any time, no matter what your level is. So I think that's kind of nice.
I like it, dude. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, Meg, you got anything else to add?
No, just thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, dude.
Danica, and I'm glad my two podcasting worlds on the project have finally merged.
I know. So technically, are you like a new host? I mean, I haven't picked that up yet. Like I see your name. Meg's like, yeah, it's me, Danica. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, all right. Are you ditching me? Like, I'm like, all right, I got Dinka, but, you know, like, you know, me and Meg, we had a thing going. Like, we were good podcasts, but I mean, there's a little bit of jealousy. All right?
A little bit of jealousy. This is
I'm
Maddie.
joking.
Maddie, you brought this on yourself because you are shit at scheduling with me.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're 100%. No, you're 100%.
It's like an hour before, and he's like, I've got a podcast. You gonna join? I'm like, Maddie.
I'll be honest with you, Meg. Like, dude, there is a couple of podcasts the last 2 weeks where I didn't fucking know I was going on air. And I got like the reminder like 45 minutes before it. I'm like, oh shit, I'm glad I put this into Zoom or else I would have no clue. And it's just because like moving in the new house, not being in work, my timing is just so fucked up right now.
Yeah.
It's so off. And even with DJ, he's not in school. So, you know, those days where you like, I knew it was a weekday, like it's kind of, you know what I mean? Like the routine, the rhythm, it's really not there. Like even lately, it's been hard for me to work out. Like the motivation to work out has been so difficult the last 3 weeks, you know? And
yeah, I feel you.
You guys are in lockdown, so you don't have the gyms. I mean, it's so tough.
Yeah, I was gonna say my motivation is, it's hard to go to like, especially now that it's cold. I'm like, oh, at least it's sunny today. So I'm probably going to go for like a little run with a friend. But like when it's like dark and cold and rainy, I'm just like, oh, I don't want to work out outside. I live in a studio. Like it's creaky floors. People don't want me jumping around in here doing stuff. Like it's tough.
So we're buying Danica the mirror.
That's a good idea. Shit, you got to give me a coupon code, all right? Because I really might get that for my sister.
Holiday 20.
Yeah, dude. Holiday 20. So I just put in what's my
Holiday
discount?
20.
If it's like 10%, screw that shit. I want like 20 or 30%.
No, it takes like $400 off.
Oh, really? Okay. All right, so it's $1,500.
Yeah.
So it'd be $1,100. Yep. That's about 350 KD. That's good. I think that would be good. That'd be a good Christmas present for my sister.
It's a great Christmas present. Yeah.
I mean, either that or the Peloton. I'm going to have to weigh them out. You know, I mean, the whole Lululemon thing, it's just doesn't sit well with me.
Peloton has a body weight one though too. And
I love the high roll. It's like weird.
and there's also the tonal.
What's that?
The tonal mirror one.
Oh, wait, hold on. So there's more than one mirror?
It has these like pulleys. Yeah.
It has the pulleys.
It has pulleys? That's
right.
No shit.
Shut up, Danica.
Wait, what is this one? Hold on. What is this? What is this contraption?
And it actually will give you resistance based on the strength you build. So as you get stronger, it adds more resistance to your workouts.
Mirror went out the window, dude. Mirror went out the window. What's this thing?
But I don't know how that one might be real expensive. Because I mean, if it has like all that, I mean, I'm sure it has the same stuff.
What's it called again?
The tonal mirror. I'm looking it up right now. The tonal mirror.
I think we need to have a whole episode on
$3,000, Maddie.
Yeah, $3,000.
With a $500 option to add on the handles and all that other stuff. So just the thing itself is $3,000.
I knew it was expensive.
I'm going to go with like the Lululemon thing. I feel that it's more price appropriate. But here's the thing in the United States for people in the Middle East and wherever, like anyone could buy something on payments, I think, on the phone, right? Like you give them a credit card and you could get payments. Even if your credit card bounces, they're still going to deduct, like the bank still deducts the money per payment, right? If I'm not mistaken. Like if you don't make your payments, it will still kind of like tally up the $35 or $40 a month, right?
You become late on your payments. I mean, it'll ruin your credit score, but
but it still
you still keep the item.
Yeah, you still keep the item. A lot of people do that in the States, though. I know a lot of people I know a lot of the Kuwaitis that went to the United States, they just ran up credit cards and came back to Kuwait. That's why they don't do the Social Security numbers anymore.
You know, there's a lot of people that go to Kuwait and do the same thing and then leave.
No shit. Really, dude? Really? I didn't know that. Take out loans and stuff and then be like, I'm never coming back. Bye. Really?
Mm-hmm. And they're blacklisted from ever traveling through there.
I know there's a new thing right now in Kuwait. Like if your contract ends or if your residency ends right now, if you owe the bank anything, they freeze your account until you pay everything off in order to leave the country.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like right now they've gotten real strict with that shit.
And I don't know how it works for if you're a resident, but I know if you're on a visa, like a work visa, like I was, if I had taken out, like if I'd gone to whatever and bought a computer and put it on payments or took out whatever, if I let it go into default and then I try to leave, when they start scanning my information, they won't let me leave.
Yeah.
Because I owe debt, which I'm like, in the US, we don't have that kind of stuff. So like, no one's like, did you take out a loan and are you defaulting? No. Oh, we don't know any of that. All right, bye.
Carry on.
Like in Kuwait, I'd be a little.
I know 3 Kuwaitis that can't go back to the US right now. One of them is in debt $100,000. And I'm like, dude.
Why would you do that in the US? What?
Yeah.
You have way lower interest rate in Kuwait. It's like 0.001.
But either way, like $100,000, like basically stole. Like basically this guy knew he was leaving in 7 months and just kind of like bought a bunch of shit or I don't know what he did, went to Vegas and had a party or something. And then he just kind of left and now he can never go back to the United States again. It's I don't know. I don't get it.
That would be really depressing though.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, like
I don't want to be blacklisted from any country.
you can't take your kids to Disneyland. Like it just sucks. Like you could never take your kids to Disneyland. Like, you know, like that just sucks.
You got Disney Paris and Disney Tokyo, I guess. So
yeah, pick another one.
Yeah,
you got Tivoli in Copenhagen.
Meg, I'm pushing for Boston this year, but
yes,
I don't think it's gonna happen. They want to go to Japan. They want to go to Mario World, dude. Like DJ's on this Mario. He wants to go to Mario.
Mario World is opening in 2021, and it's supposed to be amazing.
That sounds pretty awesome.
Go karts and everything, like Mario Kart.
You should definitely take him for that. But if you come to Boston, that'd be awesome.
Oh, 100%.
I want to go back to
100%, dude. You got to come. Danica, you're more than welcome to come too. Like you're definitely more than welcome.
You know, I have family in Boston. This would like.
Oh, really?
I can make this
like
work.
In Boston or like outside of Boston?
They might live slightly outside now, but I know it's just like a quick train ride. Like they're on like.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, well, that's nice.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
My parents went and stayed with them and loved it. They got on the train, went downtown every day and, you know, did their thing. So I was like, oh,
awesome.
Dude, more than welcome. It's a party house. Definitely. Yeah, we have a blast. Like me and Hay are in bed by like 8:30 maybe. So
we had a good time. I just went through my pictures the other day. It was fun.
Yeah, no, it definitely was a good time.
I'm down.
All right. Thanks, Danica.
Now that I'm an additional co-host, you know, I might as well be.
I want to ditch Meg for an episode and do an episode with just you, okay? All right, Meg, how's that sound? I'm going to ditch you. Just do an episode with her.
That's not fun. No.
We'll just talk about Lululemon.
I know, right? But Danica, thanks again for the intro in F45. And definitely everybody, she'll be back on.
No, thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed it, please head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. You can also find us on Instagram at The Project Kuwait. Thank you, and join us next time.